Hey, so I had a conversation with my fiance, Matt, the other night, and he brought up a topic that I found really interesting and have been thinking about ever since. And what his question or what he was pondering was, why is it that, people can be huge liars and distort somebody else's reality to the point where that person totally buys the lie, but then that person, despite believing the lie, their world comes crashing down when they find out, like, their husband has a double life. Or Matt's example was he had a boss in his early 20s that, like, led him to believe if he did certain things that he would be promoted. And so he did those things completely believing that he would be promoted and then wasn't. And we had a kind of a long conversation about that. It was interesting, and I've been thinking about it ever since, and it's led me to kind of a realization about the limits of explaining this stuff because of language, and how a lot of the language, especially I think that I've even used on this channel a lot, is probably confusing and missed the mark. And so I want to try to correct that. I use the word believe a lot on this channel because that's just the word that comes to mind for the thing I'm trying to describe. When I talk about the feeling of, certainty that something's done, I often use the word believe. But really, all of this stuff is about feeling. Neville says feeling is a secret, and this is what he means, I believe, based on my experience. It's all about how you feel about something, and I don't mean emotionally. I mean, like, in your gut, in your solar plexus. It's when you know something, it's like it's a part of you. It's not rational. It's not coming from your brain. So, like for Matt's example, he rationally believed he was going to get a promotion by doing XYZ. And that was based on the fact that, he had seen in the world that you work hard, you get ahead. His boss hadn't given him a reason to not trust him. And his boss said, if you do this, you'll get this. So he trusted that and believed it. That was based on rational outside things. When you know that something's going to happen in the way that activates this whole manifestation thing, it's not that. It's just like, as I've mentioned many times now, but in case this is the first time you're watching this, I bought a house recently, and it happened in kind of a miraculous series of events. And I rationally, fully did not believe that that was going to happen, A. And B, I rationally didn't even think there was a way for it to possibly happen, because the only way that I could see to buy a house at that time was to pay cash, due to a number of factors. And there was nothing, as far as I knew, in my cash price range that would come close to being something that I would want to buy. It happened anyway. But my point is that rationally, I didn't believe it at all. I would have bet money on it not happening. That's the rational brain's belief. The belief that activates all this stuff is, it's different. It's really hard to explain this to somebody. And I think this is actually why, if you want something really badly and you're really feeling its absence in your life, it is a good idea to do a state akin to sleep type of imaginal scene like Neville talks about in his books. That you can go into your imagination and experience that thing. And if you experience it fully enough in the way that starts the ball rolling for this stuff, you will stop feeling the absence of it in your life. You will have actually experienced it to the point where it resolves that hunger. Somebody made a great post on Reddit, I should link it, about just comparing the experience in the state akin to sleep, or the imaginal act, or whatever. This is just Neville stuff, where it's like absolutely satiating yourself using your imagination to the point where when you come back to your 3D, you've already experienced it to the point that it feels real to you the rest of the time. You know, and this is really easy when it's something that you're really feeling the lack of. This becomes so difficult, at least for me. I have everything I want, and I don't feel any kind of lack anywhere. I just don't, especially now. It's just, there's nothing missing. I'm not longing for anything. And so, like, if I want to try to make something happen just for the hell of it, it's not that easy for me. Like, I'm really good at making things I really want happen. It just happens. I don't even have to really think about it. But anyway, you saturate yourself with this feeling of satiation, and that just kind of sinks into a feeling that you have in your gut, in your heart. You just feel like you have the thing already. You feel like you are the thing already. And that is, you know, if you've never experienced it, how could somebody explain that to you? I think you really just have to take the thing that you want badly and think of it as taking a break from the 3D reality and going, just for the hell of it, and experiencing it in your imagination fully, just for the fuck of it, just for the fun of it. And if you do that enough, hopefully you'll hit the point where you have that feeling. Neville calls it the Sabbath. And that feeling of knowing is the thing that somehow creates the outer reality. I think a lot of that comes through you, but, a windstorm popped up to put me in the right place at the right time to buy the house that I bought. So it's obvious that it's not all you. It's not all your 3D avatar. You know, it's not all the creative force or whatever operating through you. Sometimes there are just things that, I had nothing to do with that as far as I know. So it's not all you, but I do think a lot of it comes from you. A lot of it comes through you from living in that state all the time. After you have, saturated yourself with this experience in your mind. That said, I think I want to start putting a caveat on this, that if that, you don't have to do that. I don't really do that for anything anymore. If I really want something, I just kind of have that, at this point, if I know for sure I want something, I know I will get it. And so when I think about it, after I've defined that I really want it, I just have that sensation. I just have that feeling of knowing that it will happen. It's kind of like it's kind of like already having it in a way. Right now, I'm trying to sell my previous residence. And this is a crazy real estate market where everything is getting snapped up instantly. And my previous residence is very nice. It is very reasonably priced, especially compared to everything else that's available. And yet, it has sat on the market now for almost 2 months. My real estate agent is a family member of mine, and so, I've talked a lot to her about why that could be, and I've had a few moments where I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Why, thankfully, I don't need the money from it, for anything. At first, when I first sold it or put it up for sale, I thought I was going to need it. So I had some stressful times in there, but, I can't explain this. And this is one of the things I'm going to talk about before the outcome actually happens. And I will tell you what actually happens. I fully believed and expected that this place was going to be sold the day it went on the market, based on what I've seen. That didn't happen. We've got theories about why, 3D world, rational theories about why. But I will tell you this. I had this thought in my mind. I was like, I'm going to get X amount of dollars for this place. I don't know why I thought that. It just was in my mind. It kept popping into my mind, this number that I was going to get for the place. And it's listed for much less than that, which is fine. You know, we're talking the inner feeling person versus the rational person. Rationally, I priced it where it's supposed to be. Inwardly, I was just like, I'm going to get a lot for this place. Outwardly, I was like, this place is going to sell right away. My inner self, I don't care. I don't care. In fact, I keep forgetting that it even exists, that it's even on the market. So I'm kind of testing myself here. I have this inner feeling of knowing about what's going to happen with the sale of my property. I just know that the fact that it has not yet sold is not a problem. I don't know if that's going to translate into a certain dollar amount. If it ends up being the dollar amount I kept thinking, I'm going to freak out definitely and post a video here immediately. But I have this just really calm inner sense of peace about the outcome of that, even though the outer reality is very weird. It definitely should be sold by now. 2 other identical properties like it sold almost immediately in the prior months leading up to when I put it on the market. It makes no sense. And mine's way nicer than these 2 places. So it doesn't make sense. The real estate market has not cooled enough for that to matter. And I am very interested to eventually, with the benefit of hindsight, interpret what all of this ended up being. Because this sense that I have is just this sense of peacefulness inside about the outcome. I guess being to my advantage. I don't really know how to put that. I know that I don't have to worry about that. That to me is what it means when it's done and you just know. I mean, I don't even have to formulate a desire about that because I don't really have one. It's, you know, obviously I would like to have as much money as I could possibly get for that, but who knows if at the closing, the person that's buying the property doesn't end up being some pivotal person in my life. There's just a certain amount of letting go and trusting that goes into the flow of this. That is all. I hope there was something of value in there. You know, trying to explain this feeling is really difficult. It's a very calm feeling. It's kind of a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's definitely it's the opposite of whatever a feeling of anxiety would be. And that is the feeling that you have when you get into the Sabbath with things. And then you will probably recognize you have that feeling about lots of things in your life, and then you can look at them and say, well, oh, okay, there's the parallels. Anyway, have a good day.